Yes, we have a couple of presentations this evening that we're excited about. The first one is about our full-day pre-K program. As you guys know, we applied for a grant last year and received a grant to have a full-day pre-K called the Smart Start Pre-K. And we had the great fortune of hiring Nicole Anafrio, who's the pre-K teacher in that program, and I'm inviting Ms. Parsons and Ms. Anafrio and Ms. Collins to the podium to give you an update on to where we are with our pre-K program.
And the grant really here is to expand access to full-day public preschool. And priority was given to boards that had a need, and Plymouth was designated through a study that was done by the state that we have a need for preschool. There's more preschool students than there are spots for preschoolers in town. And we also demonstrated that we could have a priority because we already had a full-day kindergarten program. So not every district had a full-day kindergarten program. Last spring, we were awarded the Smart Start grant, and what that grant allows us is that it gave us $75,000 that we spent this summer, and we made improvements to Plymouth Center School in order to house the pre-K program, the Smart Start classroom. And some of those improvements really are helping all of our pre-K students. We put in a new sandbox outside, we added playground equipment, we added a bathroom to a classroom, we fully furnished the classroom with great appropriate sized furniture and materials for instruction, amongst other things including technology. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over. So this is Ms. Anafrio. She is our full-time certified pre-K teacher.
Thank you. Some of the pictures I included today just give you a snapshot of what our day is and what we've been doing since the beginning of the school year. In this photo, students had just finished completing a letter writing activity where they had to write the letters in their name and place it in the correct order. It helped with pre-literacy skills and fine motor development. In these photos, students had just finished completing letter tracing. They used the light from the light table, which was purchased through the grant money, to write the uppercase and lowercase letters. It helped with fine motor skills too. These photos show our writing center. Students had just finished completing writing letters to Santa. In the photo you can see that we have different developmental needs so far for writing. Some students are just showing pictures, and that's how they're conveying their ideas, and others are starting to write words with pictures, which is really great. We love to incorporate the technology that was purchased for us in the classroom. In this photo, students are using the iPads to trace their letters. We use this for tracing letters, tracing numbers, reading. We also use our projector a lot during whole group lessons, and we focus on playing games that revolve around literacy and math concepts. And we also show them how to write the letters and how to write the numbers so that they can do it independently themselves during center time. We have whole group meetings in the classroom every day. We do a math one where we talk about the calendar, we discuss the month, the days of the week, the date, we practice counting, we figure out what yesterday was, today is, and tomorrow will be. We discuss the seasons and the weather. We've also used Second Step during this time to talk about our social emotional development. In this lesson we were discussing how to be a good friend. Students gave many good suggestions, such as helping people up, loving each other, putting a Band-Aid on a friend, hugging each other when we need it. They were so proud of their work they even wanted to be in the picture. A visit from the high schoolers came for us too, and we had so much fun with that. They read to the students and helped them in center activities. My students really enjoyed it, and it gave them a break from me. We do after-school events too. In this photo, we are working on our gingerbread workshop. The parents really liked the gingerbread workshop. We got a lot of positive feedback about how great it is to do school events outside of school time in a non-structured environment. We do fun events in the classroom too. In these photos, we are having our Halloween party where we went pumpkin picking outside, and then we decorated it when we came inside, and they had a lot of fun wearing their costumes. We had a Friendsgiving where we ate a meal together, and we talked about things that we were thankful for. And before the holiday break, we had a chance to come together and have a Polar Express party where we compared the book to the movie, and we made more gingerbread houses because it was such a hit the first time. Student performance has really started to increase since implementing the Smart Start program. A majority of my students can now recognize their first name, which is appropriate, and 8 students can identify 20 or higher uppercase letters when they only need to know some letters currently at this time, so we are doing very well. And they can state at least 3 new letter sounds, and they know a majority of their concepts of print. In math, we're performing very well as well. We have 15 students who can sort by color, shape, and size when they really need to only sort by one attribute and describe it. We have 10 students who can recognize all the 5 shapes covered in class, including hexagon, and we've even started talking about pentagon and now some 3-dimensional shapes as well.
So it's not very easy to follow a presentation when you have a bunch of pre-K kids and all these slides. And certainly the budget isn't always the most exciting thing to speak about, but I do look forward to being able to talk to you and present to you tonight our spending plan for 18-19. And my hopes for tonight is that I'm able to share with you how we're going to try to balance the needs of our students and balance that with the fiscal realities of the state and our town and the fiscal issues that we've been dealing with. I'm hoping that I can review some of the real positive highlights, some of the real success stories we've had over the past few years, but also deal with some of the challenges that we're dealing with. And in the end, I really hope that you see this budget as a very responsible budget. But I do want to spend a little bit of time on our recent accomplishments. I think it's important to look back a little bit before you look at the 18-19 budget too deeply. We've made some really strong growth on the standardized testing for our kids. In fact, our math scores increased by another 12% as we went from a year ago to this year. We're getting ready for our new testing window will be in a couple of months, but we saw a major increase in math, and that's now over 2 years. And we were able to sustain the English increases that we saw from the year before. In terms of additional recent accomplishment, because yes, there's a whole other slide, we moved central office from Main Street to Terryville High School, saving over $60,000 a year. That, we think, is a significant accomplishment. We've reduced chronic absenteeism. Our teachers are fabulous, but the kids have to be here. And we do have some chronic absenteeism. We want to continue to bring it down. We saw a 13% decrease in the amount of chronic absenteeism from 2 years ago to last year. And we're seeing good results now. But of course, we do have some challenges. As you all know, this has probably been the most difficult budget year for this district and perhaps all districts around the state of Connecticut. We've learned about how much you cannot count on the state of Connecticut to provide the ECS funds that they say they're going to give you. That has really put a lot of stress on our system. To be completely honest, our teachers are doing the absolute best they can, but we're very lean. Our teachers have, not just our teachers, but all of our staff wear multiple hats, and I'm very proud of the work they're doing, but we've stretched ourselves about as thin as we can go. So what are some of the priorities this year? Like I said, we want to balance the needs of the students, but we have to recognize the fiscal situation that the town is in. The town doesn't have much of a fund balance. I read where some towns have $10 million, $20 million of fund balance to rely on. We unfortunately don't have that, so we can't lean on the fund balance in order to get us out of an issue. So we have to put together a budget that's very thoughtful to that piece. This slide is different from last year. This talks about cuts we made this year that we want to bring back into our budget. So we want to make sure we have a library media specialist here at this high school. Not just, well, most importantly, because we want it for the kids, because we think a library media specialist is important. At the same time, NEASC, the folks who give us accreditation, also think it's important. And if we don't have that, we're going to find ourselves in trouble. We don't, at this point, feel we can support these items. You cut 3 literacy support folks. We're certainly not moving back to Main Street, so that's not even a possibility. The dean position at the middle school has been very successful. Ms. Walsh has done an excellent job as the dean. The secretary that we eliminated at the middle school and brought up to the high school to fill a vacancy has gone well. And the other items on there we feel are not going to make it into the 18-19 budget either. Moving into 18-19, we look to reduce those 2 teachers. What this next slide shows, reducing those 2 teachers That number, though, includes unemployment costs. If those teachers find jobs and we don't have to pay unemployment, that savings would be more than the $62,000. We do not need 5 sections of French at Taylorville High School. The kids are not asking for it. They're not signing up for it. We only need 3 sections, and so the recommendation is to reduce the 1.0 to a 0.6. Teachers doing a great job. It's just that they are taking Spanish and not too much. Some notable items that we're adding. We've been pushed to try to make sure we keep students in our district and not send them out of district. And we're also being encouraged to try to bring as many students back to our district from out of district placements. And Ms. Trinks and her team has done a great job with that. But as we've been continuing to say, that doesn't come at no cost. We do have to have support staff in our district in order to support them. These are all the districts that are similar to us. It's Durgaf. Those are the towns that are supposedly have the same demographics as us. I argue that Wolcott doesn't, but they're still in our group. The state median is now 16,992, and we're at 14,526. I share this slide because if anybody says to you, Plymouth Public Schools are not being efficient with their money, I share this slide. We are almost at the bottom of our DER group. If we had the state median average, we would have another $3.5 million in our budget. I'm not asking for $3.5 million, and no, I don't think you guys would ask for $3.5 million. But this shows that we're being very efficient with our money. As compared to the adopted 17-18 budget, we're looking for $12,000 increase. 0.05% increase, not 5%, 0.05% increase. And if you think about it, with a $320,000 increase in healthcare, that means we've actually cut $308,000 out of our budget. So, a timeline. Remember, we have a date, next Wednesday, January 17th, 6 to 8:30 up in the library. You guys get to dig in deep. You got the full budget packet. You can ask as many questions as you need and want. We'll have all the principals and everybody else who's built this budget present.